Welcome back, everybody, to the Varsity Squad Show. I'm your host, Sheldon.
I'm Daniel. And I'm Landon.
How's it going, guys? How was your guys' weekend?
Solid weekend, dude.
Catch a
Can't complain.
Yeah, catch a bunch of rest and everything.
Oh, yeah.
What about you, Landon?
It was a rough weekend.
Rough weekend?
Yeah. Just a rough game and all that. But we'll talk about that later.
Okay. Okay, guys, we got some great things to talk about today. We got a recap, Cardinals player and coaches of the week we'll talk about. Not our power rankings, sorry. Our pro sports report and cap or no cap. Daniel, let's start off with the AIA scores.
All right. In AIA football, we, of course, had the Chandler versus Castile game, which was rescheduled and played on Saturday. Chandler came out on top, winning 40-21, giving Castile their first loss. Now, number 22 ranked Chaparral shocked number 10 Queen Creek with a 21-20 win, just barely squeezing out the dub right there. We had Saguaro have a big win against number 23 ranked Desert Edge, winning 42-18. Bit of a blowout on that one. Now, number 24 ranked Desert Ridge had a great contest against Cesar Chavez, edging them out 43-42. Horizon pulled off the upset to beat number 18 Higley 15-12. Now Landon's going to share the CAA recap.
In CAA girls volleyball, Wickenburg Christian Academy smacked New Day Rising, winning all 3 sets played and even winning one set 25-3. Basis Mesa handled Buren Academy, winning the match in just 3 sets. Holy Family Academy took care of business against Ridgeline Academy 3-1. And Trinity Christian spared no drama against Basis Scottsdale, winning in all 3 sets. In CAA boys soccer, Arrowhead Christian beat Orm 5-1. Ville de Marie is back to smacking teams, beating 91st Psalm Christian 8-0. In CAA football, Western School of Science and Technology beat AZ Compass 38-28. This is a huge upset with AZ Compass coming into a game with an undefeated record. Aho High beat New Way Academy 52-14. Heritage Academy Maricopa edged out Heritage Academy Gateway 30-14.
Guys, is it just me or is it nothing but blowouts across the board?
That's all I'm saying.
I mean, we had the Cesar Chavez game that was 43-42, but other than that, there's a lot of blowouts.
Saguaro game blowout.
Yeah.
Castile got pretty smacked a little.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was about 20 almost.
Yeah, I know. Just a lot of blowouts. I think last week we had a lot of close games, right? A lot of, we had some upsets this week, of course.
And now Ville de Marie's back to.
Yeah, they are. They're back to smacking teams.
Smacking everybody.
And then you guys know I was at the Ajo game with they were playing New Way Academy, 52-14, and it was never close. Actually, before the game, it was storming pretty bad Friday night. We actually drove through a haboob on the way down, so we hit the dust and then the rain, and it was really bad. But it was cool to drive through, in a way. And game time, we're surrounded by a big storm, and I'm like, I hope we really don't get this canceled. We're seeing lightning in the distance. We're like, hopefully it's not within the 10 miles. But we ended up being okay, and the game was really quick because they have the running clock. But 52-14, and it was never close.
Man, tough.
And obviously, several other places, it was the same case.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Castile losing. So they got beat pretty bad by Chandler, 40-21. Obviously, that game was supposed to be Friday night. Got rained out. Played Saturday. Do you think maybe playing on a different day had something to do with the loss?
That could definitely throw the teams off. But, both the teams had to go through it.
Right.
It could throw them off, but you can't blame that. Like, Castile can't be like, oh, well, it got rescheduled, so it threw us off. No, Chandler got thrown off, too.
They both wanted to play Friday night. Everybody showed up to the game, I'm sure, and everybody had to go home.
Yeah, and I'm sure that sucked.
Oh, I'm sure it did. And all season, we've been talking about Castile creeping into the top 5, but with a loss to Chandler like that in that fashion, and they still got to play Hamilton, they still got to play these other teams. Is there any shot they creep into that top 5 before the season ends?
They gotta.
It won't be this week. I don't
know
think
they
it'll be this
definitely
week.
have to if anything, they have to at least try to win out. But if that doesn't happen, I mean,
Yeah, again, they play Hamilton. They play.
Yeah,
they
I'm
play Sapporo.
not really seeing them creeping into the top 5 after getting smacked like that. That was.
I don't think they're going to move anywhere from where they're at. I mean, just because again they go by that strength of schedule. Chandler's the number 2 team in the state. Could be the number 1 now, but I mean, 3rd-rate team. There was a lot of games played this weekend. Over the weekend, did you guys catch any games? The scores of any games, anything like that?
Caught the Basha and Liberty game.
That was a great. Well, not really a great game, but a good game to tune into. I will say this: on the way home from Ajo, I was looking at the scores. There was some games that were still in the first quarter at 9:00 at night, which means there was a lot of delays across the valley. Which that's just you got to think 9:00. So the game starts at 7 usually. You're on the field by what? 5:00, 5:30.
Mm-hmm.
So from 5:30 you're trying to practice, and you got to cut the practice early, right? Go into the locker room for the rain out, whatever. But 9:00 you're in the first quarter. That means you're probably not getting done till 11:00 at night, midnight maybe. That's a long game. That's a long night for those kids and for those fans. And you had a game early in the season where, you waited till what 9:30, 10:00 before they canceled the game because they were playing from Tucson, right?
Yeah.
So.
That probably affected a lot of the players.
Yeah, and they ended up just conceding the game because them coming from Tucson, they said, we're not going to make you go home and come back, and we're not going to we can't book you in a hotel tonight, so unless you want to sleep in the bus or something. So certainly that rain has been affecting everybody, and this has been all season, I feel like, with the monsoon. It'll not rain all day Friday until 7 p.m. Friday night, seems like, and that's just the way it's gone for some of these schools, which stinks, but we can control a lot of things, but we can't control the weather. So it is what it is. Hey guys, we're going to take a break real quick, but don't go away. Up next, we have Cardinals player and coach of the week. Welcome back. Now it's time to present our Cardinals Player of the Week. Now keep in mind, this award is voted on by Cardinals defensive lineman Corey Peters, former high school coach Kelly Epley, 12 News sports anchor Cameron Cox, former 12 News sports anchor Bruce Cooper, high school broadcaster Michael Carantuno, and AZ Central writer Richard Obert. And each award is also given and certified by NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell, Cardinals owner Michael Bidwell, head coach Cliff Kingsbury, and our Cardinals cheerleading staff, and of course, team mascot Big Red. Now for the Week 5 Player of the Week, we present to you Nikita McCrimson from Westwood High School. Daniel, tell us about this kid from Westwood.
Alright, this senior from Westwood High School, for starters, I mean, I've never seen stats like this. It's a no-brainer that he was picked for this award after his performance during a Week 5 game against Marana High School. Westwood found themselves down at the half, 32-23. But there must have been some great halftime speech because they went on to win the game 59-58. Sheesh, that's a lot, man. It's an old-fashioned shootout game that featured great play for both schools. With many athletes putting up big numbers, Nikita still stood out with a tremendous game. 20 carries, racked up 209 yards, 4 rushing touchdowns. He also had 44 receiving yards on 4 receptions. On offense, he was deadly, but on defense, he was also a problem for Marana. He had 3 solo tackles, which is solid for a cornerback. Also 3 pass deflections. But the play that stood out the most took place after a long drive from Marana in which they found themselves in the 1-yard line. But Nikita was sick of the constant scoring, decided to take matters into his own hands, and intercepted the ball in the end zone, ran it back 100 yards for a pick 6, and McCrimson ended up with 353 total all-purpose yards and 5 total touchdowns. Now that's a crazy Player of the Week right there. Now Landon's going to tell us about the Coach of the Week.
Now for our Coach of the Week, we present to you Brandon Large, who is the head coach for Westwood High School. This is the first time both Cardinals coach and player were selected from the same school, and I think is fair considering the magnitude of the win they had against Marana. Going into the game, Marana was in a 3-game hot streak and sitting 3-0, while Westwood was 1-3. With the record in Westwood being down 2 scores at half, it didn't look good for the Warriors. But Coach Brandon rallied the team and helped motivate them to score 36 points in the second half and win the game, and shocked every fan in the stands. Large was the offensive coordinator for Higley before taking the head coaching job for Westwood. When Large was a senior, he actually took his school to the championships in 2007, but sadly lost to Chandler. Once in player, now a coach for Westwood, certainly had his ups and downs, and Marana Large proved he can get it done in this big moment.
Guys, that's a huge win for Westwood. I'm sorry. 59-58. I wish I was at that game. I mean, an old-fashioned shootout game. They came back, they were down 2 scores going into the half. And like you were saying, Brandon Large played for Westwood as a junior, as a senior. Even took him to the championship, I think his senior year, you said, against Chandler. They didn't win, but it's Chandler. And that just shows how long they've been dominating since 2007. But, I mean, this is a game I wish I could have been in. I mean, a pick 6, 100-yard pick 6, hit 200 yards on the ground, rushing the ball, 4 rushing touchdowns, and he was catching the ball too. What more can you ask from the kid? I mean,
he did it all, man.
Literally did it all. And you could say, well, he really helped him on offense. Well, he really helped him on defense too. I mean, obviously, he's one guy, so he can't hold a team from scoring 58 points, which is what they did. But just a little bit of, going into the game, Marana was 3-0, Westwood was 1-3. So you're looking at those 2 records and you're saying, no shot Marana even has a close game. And at halftime, you said 32-23, I believe. Mm-hmm. That's not, I mean, That's a pretty good score to go to the half with. Up at least you're up 9. You're up 2 scores. Just control the game, control the rest of the game in the second half, and you'll get the win. Now Landon, 100-yard pick six. I haven't seen anybody do that this year so far, at least. So what do you think about it?
I think impressive because you gotta have all that energy just to run. You got adrenaline going, and you got fans screaming. It has to be a crazy feeling.
And playing both sides of the ball.
So you gotta be tired.
Yeah.
Because just for me playing offense is just like, coach, I need out. Like, it's a lot.
And Daniel, do you ever think there's not an excuse, but a reason for a player to play both sides of the ball, ever? Unless you really have to, I guess.
Once you get to the higher levels, you don't have to as much.
Mm-hmm.
But it's always the standout athletes that are able to do it. Like, if they have to, they can go out there and perform well on both sides. And this dude was able to get himself a touchdown on both sides of the ball, that's impressive, dude. That's very impressive right there.
Yeah, and then we talked about Brandon Lodge, again, the coach. He coached at Higley. He was an offensive coordinator. So do you guys think that offensive coordinator mentality has helped him with this offense, scoring 59 points this game?
Yeah, it definitely has. He's a champion. He's a winner, for sure. And we're not going to talk about the championship he got to. At least he got to a championship.
Yeah.
That's
more than a lot of people can say.
That's a big game, especially against Chandler. So he definitely is a winner,
mm-hmm.
and he has it in his genes. So him as an offensive coordinator definitely reflects onto his athletes and shows them that if he could do it, then they could definitely do it too.
Sure. And obviously, it hasn't been the perfect start to the season. I think they're right at 500 right now. I think with the win on Friday, I think they're 3-3, which is, for a new
Not
coach,
bad.
that's not a bad thing. But obviously they could be better. But to beat a 3-0 Marana team, pretty impressive for Westwood. And I can't wait to see what this Nikita McCrimson can do for the end of the season, what his stats look like, what his defensive stats look like. That's kind of, I don't think we've said that yet for the player of the week in terms of, offense and defense production. Maybe he'll get a tackle here and there, but a pick six, 3 pass breakups, and 3 tackles for a cornerback. And just for defensive stats, he could be player of the week for that. And then you look at his offense, you're like, well, he's player of the week on both sides.
Yeah, no doubt.
So,
no doubt.
Maybe he'll be, kicking field goals next week. We don't know. He could be doing everything, a little bit of everything. But guys, that's going to wrap up Cardinals player and coach of the week. Up next, we're going to talk about 2 big games that happen Friday night, so don't go away. Welcome back, everybody. Now it's time for the AIA report. And we want to talk about a couple games that happened Friday night. But the first game we're talking about is the game of the week between Basha and Liberty High School. A game in which number 3 Liberty was playing at number 1 Basha at Jim Wall Stadium, home of the Basha Bears. Now, both teams going into this game were undefeated. And a lot was riding on this game in terms of playoffs and the overall Arizona rankings. And as good as both teams are, the game was never close. Liberty ended up winning the game 35-7, and they were even up 35-0. And Bash had a late touchdown, which was great for them, but didn't really matter or affect the game. And this game was led by Liberty quarterback Navi Bruzon, who threw for 248 yards on 17 for 20 passing. He continues the streak of no interceptions. He has no interceptions all year, and he now has 16 touchdowns because he just threw 3 Friday night. And he was just amazing this game. And Liberty is now undefeated on the season, 5-0. And Basha suffers their first loss, so it's not over for them, but they're 5-1. But Landon, that was a great game, Liberty Basha. But let's talk about your game Friday night.
Well, it was rough. We had a lot of injuries. Mm-hmm. So we started off and we went down. Or no, we were on defense. They were driving, and we made them fumble. Mm-hmm. And we got the ball. So it was a big switch of momentum. We were all hype. And then right off the gate, it was like a 60-yard play. We get down to like the 2-yard line, and we have to kick a field goal. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't know what it is, but we got to work on our red zone a little bit.
Yeah.
But then that was the only time we scored.
That was the first score of the game, and
it was done.
Oh no!
It was bad.
Well, tell me about Calvin. He got hurt. Your starting quarterback. He
Calvin
got hurt early
hurt.
on.
Yeah. So we were doing options and running the ball. Whenever he'd run, he kept landing on his bad shoulder. Mm-hmm. And his shoulder's bad because he got in a little car accident a couple days ago.
Yeah, just a couple days ago. Yeah.
Which he's okay. It wasn't severe or anything, but the airbag kind of messed with his shoulder a little bit. And he kept falling on that shoulder, getting hit on that shoulder. And one play really messed him up. So then we had to go with our sophomore quarterback, which could only play 2 quarters, the first and second, because he played the JV game the day before.
That's right.
So then, after those 2 quarters, Brody, he's a receiver on our team. Or no, he plays slot. He's also he can throw the ball, but
he's a receiver.
He's a receiver, you know. And he was playing quarterback. He was doing fine, and they scored, and they went to kick off the ball, and he got blown up. So he got hurt. He got a helmet straight to the ribs. So that put him out. So then went to our tight end. So it was just bad.
Yeah, you went to your fourth, like we mentioned, you went to your 4th string quarterback, who isn't a 4th string quarterback. You guys don't have one.
We only have 2 quarterbacks.
Yeah.
We only have 2. And our kick returners, one of our kick returners got hurt. He's also our punt returner, so I went in, and it was all right.
Yeah, then you got blown up on a play.
And I
thankfully didn't get hurt.
I know I was going to catch a punt, and I didn't even see everyone was coming towards me. because I thought, they'd block, but didn't block. Caught it, got hit right away. Didn't feel good.
I'm sure it didn't.
And then Brady got hurt. Brady was hurting too.
And Brady's your leading. He's your leading.
Before this game, he had a hurt hamstring, but he was feeling better, so he played the game. But during the game, when he was running, he was hurting, so he had to sit out. So we didn't really have a healthy offense.
No, and what it kind of sounds like is going into the game, a lot of your key players, Calvin, Brady, were already suffering from injuries that happened, maybe a previous game, or you said Calvin got in a car accident, which is horrible. I'm glad he's okay, but other than that shoulder, I'm glad he's okay. But you guys, it was kind of like we take a big hit, they're out.
Yeah, and there was a lot of personal fouls in the game on Canyon View.
Oh, Canyon View.
After I got hit on that punt, he tackled me and then he just grabbed my legs and flung them, and I just stood up and was like.
Did they throw a flag on it?
No, they didn't throw a flag on that, and I was just like, I was kind of I was mad because I was just like, really, dude? You guys are up by 20. I don't know why you gotta be extra about it. And they were doing that every play. After a hit, they'd be extra and do an extra shove or something like that. It was just very frustrating.
Yeah, and I've reffed Canyon View before. I've reffed their sub varsity, never their varsity, and that's just the way they play. I wouldn't say it's dirty. They're just very. Extra motivated after the play. Let's just say that, they'll make the tackle, and another guy wants to just he wants credit for the play too, so he wants to give it a little shove. Nothing wrong with that, except there is. But
exactly. If I get tackled and someone shoves me after, if I'm a hothead, I'm gonna probably turn around and hit him or something.
Thankfully, you're not like that. But yes, I've seen kids like that. That don't. Cheap shot the wrong kid because you're going to get cheap shotted right after. I promise you that. I had games all day Saturday, just youth football games, but we have a 14U game, which is basically freshman football, feels like. And there was a big scrum that broke out, and kid came in trying to defend his teammate and was throwing haymakers. It's I'll never I always will go against that, but it's defending your team, all that kind of stuff. That goes into play when you're making those cheap shots, because it was a cheap shot that happened on Saturday, off topic. Mm-hmm. But do you think maybe these guys, you have a bye week this week, right? So you'll be able to rest. They don't have practice. What's your practice schedule this week?
Monday,
Tuesday, fall break and everything.
Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday.
Monday, Tuesday, Thursday in the morning.
Not too bad.
Yeah, it's not hot. So not too bad. Be able to rest the week off.
We're watching so much film though today.
Really?
I know.
From the game?
Because practice is going to start at 12, but we're having film at 10:15.
Oh.
we're
practice is at 12, 10:15. Wow.
And it's going to be 10:15 to 10:45 of special teams. And then 10:45 to probably 11:30 is offense.
So you're spending a lot of your fall break, well, at least 3 days of it, with your football team, which is okay, Do you think your players that got hurt will be back the next game? Do you guys know who you play next?
I would play Agua Fria, which is actually crazy because we have 3 coaches that left our school to go there.
So maybe a little revenge for them or revenge for you guys for leaving. Who knows?
Yeah.
Any players that left, or just the coaches?
Just coaches.
Just a bunch of coaches.
Just coaches. It was.
Were they coming from the varsity, or were they coming from maybe the sub-varsity coaching positions?
2
coaches.
2 were from varsity, and 1 was a freshman coach.
Okay. Just got a better opportunity, or?
The receiver coach from our school got the defensive coordinator job, and then the offensive coordinator. I'm pretty sure he got the offensive coordinating job there, but I don't know why. But yeah.
Hey, I will say this: I'll never be against a coach for getting a better opportunity. We think of in any sport. I think of even the NFL. These offensive coordinators, they'll sign a deal to be the head coach of some team during the season. They'll be in week 9 or week 10, and they're like, hey, you're going to be the head coach for the Bears next year, but you're the offensive coordinator for the Patriots or whoever. They're like, okay, I'll do it. So finish this year, and you're going to come over for us. And every Cardinals coach of the week that we've talked about has been a positions coach, and then became a head coach, or they were a college coach, but they were just coaching maybe the O-line or the receivers. So maybe that's what it takes. You know, you got to be those smaller role jobs, and then, you know, through that, get the head coaching job. Another off-topic thing. But, you know, and then going back to that Liberty game,
That's insane.
Liberty's insane. I mean, they're ranked 3, beating the number 1 team like that.
35-7.
Yeah.
I mean,
not even close.
On the way back for Aho, we were all listening to it on the radio. It was on the radio because it's
Oh,
such a big game.
nice.
And all I could hear is, you know, Navi Bruzon rolls out, throws a deep touchdown. You know, the announcers are all getting hyped, and I'm in the car like, man, this kid's special. This team is special because Basha, they were undefeated. They were 5-0 going in, and they've blown out everybody they played for the most part.
didn't
So
blow up Liberty.
they got blown out by Liberty.
That's shocking, dude.
And again, it was 35-0, like late in the fourth quarter. So like, it's not like it was 7-7, and all of a sudden Liberty, like it was a blowout game. Liberty was just good. And this is actually another game that second quarter was still like, it was like 9 o'clock still. So this game finished very late.
Probably finished at like 10:30. I mean,
Well, probably later than 10:30.
probably 11.
Probably 11 o'clock, 11:30, which, you know, if I'm a Liberty player, I don't care. I'll play as long as I need to beat the number 1 team in the state. And I expect either Chandler or Liberty to take that number 1 spot, but at least number 1 and 2 for those teams respectively.
Yeah,
But unless Basha doesn't drop, just because they did play at one of the top schools. But, you know, I think if you're the number 1 spot and you lose
to number 3.
to number
drop,
3,
yeah.
3 should go to 1.
but we won't know till Wednesday, so we'll just have to check that out. And guys, that's going to wrap up our AIA report for the 2 games. Some great stuff to happen in those games, and some not so great stuff, but that's okay. Up next, we're going to do our In the Big Leagues post-sports report, so don't go away. Welcome back, everybody. Now it's time for In the Big Leagues, our pro sports report. First up, let's talk about those Cardinals.
The Cardinals-Eagles game certainly did not disappoint us. A game that came down to the wire. But unfortunately for the Cardinals, the Eagles pulled it out, winning 20-17. The Cardinals had a chance to tie the game late with a 43-yard field goal, but it was wide right. And the Eagles early on took a 14-0 lead, and things were not looking good for the Bird Gang. But thanks to a steady drive led by Kyler, the Cardinals found the end zone toward the end of the first half. And the game went into... Excuse me, guys. Into the fourth quarter, the Cardinals trailed 10-17, but they were able to piece together another long drive to tie it up. The Eagles then kicked a field goal with just a few minutes left, and the Cardinals found themselves on fourth down within field goal range. But it just did not go our way. They were not able to kick that field goal in. They lost 20-17. Cardinals now sit 2-3, tied at the bottom of their division with the Rams that are also 2-3.
Ouch.
Yeah. Ouch.
Another loss for the Cardinals.
Ouch.
Now 2-3 with a 20. I mean, I think it's good you said they didn't disappoint because it was a close game. I think all of our predictions, except for, I think you said the Cardinals were going to win, right?
Yeah.
Me and Landon both said their Eagles were going to win by probably double,
By a
two
lot.
scores.
By a lot. You guys had
So,
no faith.
Yeah,
Rightfully so.
I didn't have faith, but watching the game though, when they tied the game up, it was 17-17. I'm like, we might win this. I mean, maybe the Eagles aren't legit, but obviously they are. I still think they're a great team. I will say that Kyler Murray at times looked really, really good in the game, and at times looked really, really bad. I think something that's been consistent throughout the year is overthrown passes, or just maybe just a bad throw that it just looks really, really bad. And this is what he does. Throws his hand up at the receiver or the tight end. I've seen that him do that all year.
Okay.
Now hold on.
Right.
Now he did do. There was a pass he threw, and you did see him do like this. That's on me. So maybe that's a step in the right direction for some accountability. Because all season I feel like he's been throwing those just errant passes.
Yeah.
And he just puts his hand up and he looks all annoyed and stuff. But it's like I saw him Saturday or saw him Sunday. That's on me. That's on me. Ertz. So it was a pass of Zach Ertz. And the next play he hit him for a first down. So, no harm, no foul for Zach for overthrown ball. What were you gonna say, Landon?
Now someone that stood out to me though on the Cardinals though, Marquise Brown.
Oh,
dog.
He was balling
Oh, yeah,
out.
dog.
I mean, he took over that game for the Cardinals.
That first touchdown catch he had, where it was 20 yards, there was only a 5-yard catch. He broke the linebacker's ankles and was able to find himself in the end.
Almost fell, kept himself
Oh
up,
yeah.
and just took
Now,
off.
he did have a crucial drop late in the game. Do you remember that on the slant route? Just couldn't get a handle on it, kept bobbling it. Thankfully, it wasn't a pick or
Trying to
anything.
catch it like this.
Yep, it was he just couldn't get a handle on it, and that's another thing that's been consistent with him is a drop every game
Yeah.
in a key part of the game. He's been great all year for us. He's a great pickup. He was I wouldn't say replacement for DeAndre Hopkins or Christian Kirk who left because I think he plays so differently from both of them. But he's been the guy we needed. I mean, I can't really name significant other receivers on the team other than him.
He's been filling that position
well
for now.
But he has had a big drop every game, and a key point of the game is like, you have to catch it there. I'd rather you drop the 3 others you caught in the first quarter than drop that one, And speaking of the first quarter, or the first half, I should say, Cardinals had some points going into the halftime, which is something that's been kind of new. I think every other game we've had either 0 or 3. So, I think our first score wasn't until I think 4 minutes into the second quarter, or 4 minutes left, I should say. But we scored. I'm like, hey,
a touchdown.
Step in the right direction.
At least a touchdown.
Step in the right direction. But for this game, they couldn't find it in the second half because they had 10 going into the half. It was 14-10, right? And then it was 17. They had scored 7 in the second half. So we kind of flipped it. We talked about we wanted to see some offensive points in the first half, but We didn't see very many in the first half, but we definitely didn't see any in the second half. Only 7. So, what are your guys' thoughts going into going with the rest of the season? We're now at the bottom of the division with the Rams sitting at 2-3 because the Seahawks they took a loss too. So the Seahawks, Cardinals, and Rams are all on the bottom. The Niners at the top.
I don't think it'll stay like that.
I mean, I for sure think Rams are gonna stay at the bottom. They're not nothing special this year.
No.
I'm not seeing that. They haven't done.
Interesting take, man.
They haven't done anything this year. I'm just saying, like, they're not what they were last year.
Oh, for sure.
no,
They're
that's
definitely
true.
not what they are
That's
last
Like,
year.
they're not doing anything this year.
What I think the problem with the Rams is you look at the offseason, they gained so much. They gained Allen Robinson. They gained Bobby Wagner at the linebacker position, who he's coming off his highest, his best year of football with the most tackles he's had in his career. And their defense hasn't been very good, and their offense hasn't been very good. They lost Odell Beckham. He's a free agent, but he wasn't a significant part of that offense last year. I mean, he was great, don't get me wrong, but he wasn't. I mean, he's not Cooper Kupp. He's not Allen Robinson. He's not these guys that are going to give you 100 yards a game. He may give you one big play and say, that play helped us win the game, sure. But Cooper Kupp's continued to play good for the Rams. But Matthew Stafford he looks kind of old. I'm just going to say it. He looks kind of old.
Yeah, he went through a lot in Detroit, man.
Yeah, I know. He might be having flashbacks because
there.
last year, he's playing for a new team with the LA Rams. And in his first year with them, they won the Super Bowl. So you're thinking, this quarterback has just been held back all these years. But this year, he's thrown a lot of interceptions. He's thrown, I think, maybe 6 touchdowns on the year, but a lot of interceptions to go with that. And he hasn't looked very good. Again, he's just looked old.
Yeah.
I hate saying that because I feel like it's trashing a quarterback who's still very, very good and better than I could ever be. But that's just the way it looks.
And just won the Super Bowl.
And just won the Super Bowl.
But maybe, I mean, he was in Detroit for a while not winning anything.
Yeah. So
he got his ring, and now he's like, I'm tired.
And he's like, I'm gonna take this year off. And we'll see what happens.
It's like, I got one. I'm done.
Yeah. How about your Broncos?
We already talked about them, so we're not talking about the Broncos anymore.
Oh yeah, that was still
we flamed them enough last week. But the Browns and Chargers had a great game. I don't know if you guys we watched the end of it.
That was crazy.
40-28 or 30-28. Sorry, but the Browns,
choked.
Yeah.
I mean, they had the chance to win too.
They drove all the way down through an interception at the 2-yard line.
Chargers got to 4th and 1, went for it.
That's right.
Missed it, incomplete right on I believe it was a hitch route, and all the Browns had to do was run, I think, like 3 plays and kick a field goal. 43, or no, it wasn't a 43. It was a shorter field goal. He kicks it. He misses. Missed it. All for nothing.
Two failed game-winning drives or potentially game-winning drives, and
all for nothing.
All for nothing.
Missed by the kicker.
The Browns are going to be the Browns at the end of the day, but you expect them to win that game. The Chargers are another team who haven't been. I mean, they're another team that I thought was going to be just outstanding this year, and they haven't been. They've been kind of mediocre. Just a couple weeks ago, they got blown out by the Jaguars, 38-10. So it's like kind of hard for me to say you're a good team when you have that on your record still.
Okay, how about the Dolphins? I mean,
Dolphins. I feel bad for them.
Yeah, you hate to see that.
You talk about injuries.
Teddy Bridgewater gets hurt.
Yep.
Gets a concussion.
The first play, literally his first play, his ending stats was 0 for 1 on passing. So it wasn't like he played all game and then got hurt at the end. He got hurt so early on. And the thing is the Dolphins still kept it. For most of the game, they kept it close until the end.
Until the end, 40-17.
Because at one point it was 17-19, and it was a decent game. But I mean, the Jets
took off.
They jetted off with the win. Let's just say that. And the Jets may be a team to look out for. Who knows?
No, they're not.
I don't know.
You just gotta see that rough in the passer call on Tom Brady. That was. I mean,
he got it because
he
got it because he's the GOAT. He's 45 years old. That's why he got the call. Because I'm gonna say this. Yeah, I know he's going through a lot in his life right now. So if the referees can give him that, props to them.
He doesn't throw the flag though.
Tua Tagovailoa, just a few weeks ago, got literally slammed down like a a rag doll by the Bengals. That's not a roughing the passer call. I mean, to me, this is just me. I don't know how a wrap up throwdown when the defender's going down as well. I don't know how that's roughing the passer when he has the ball in his hands. It's a sack. I don't know how. We're trying to protect the quarterbacks. I'm all for protecting the players, but there's the rule where you can't take the quarterback down high and you can't have your force of your body going down on him. I'm all for that because you're going to get quarterbacks hurt. The quarterbacks, they make the most money in the league for a reason. They bring the most money to franchises, but a wrap-up tackle on Tom Brady it wasn't no vicious tackle. Nope. I mean, come on. After the game, he said, I don't throw the flag, which is kind of savage, which is true. Of course, he didn't throw the flag. But after the sack, what did he do? Complain to the ref, complain to the white hat. And then what happened? The white hat threw a flag. It kind of reminds me of Michael Jordan back in the day. Michael Jordan could get any call he wanted because he was the best in the league, best player. You can keep saying that. He's not. LeBron is. And LeBron gets those calls too. Any calls, and that's just maybe that's just for the territory of you're the GOAT or you're the best, you're the best whatever. Or maybe it's just because you're 45 years old and maybe they're thinking, man, this old man's getting hurt. I don't want to get hurt. I can't let other guys see this and think they can do this as well. Again, I'm saying another guy's old, but 45 years old. That's pretty older in the NFL.
Pro sports, man.
But he's still great though. Tom Brady's Tom Brady. He's great.
Cincinnati Bengals.
Yeah, Bengals.
We took.
You talked a lot of smack saying that the Ravens weren't a very good team. I will say that.
Wow.
Just to come to find out, you guys aren't very good.
Well, we took the lead for the most part at the very end.
Uh-huh.
But then we gave Lamar and Mark Andrews the chance to just drive down. Then they have the best kicker in the league.
Nice.
Kicker right to
their kicker got it done.
Oh yeah, he for sure got it done.
Justin Tucker.
He's been getting it done. Just looking at they had the graphics last night on the game for the stats he's put up. He now has 61 consecutive field goals made in the fourth quarter. 61, which means in the most clutch quarter you have to make it. He doesn't miss. He's also 25 for 26, under 2 minutes in the fourth quarter for game-winning or game-time situations in his career. 25 for 26. I
knew he was gonna make it. And
the way he comes out, he's such confidence because he's like, I've done it 24 for 25. Let me give you one more, and that he did. It was only 43 yards, so it wasn't crazy. Last year he hit a 61 yard game-winning field goal, I think.
Holy smokes.
He's like 43. Come on, I do this in my sleep. I can do this blindfolded. He probably could. I believe he could, honestly. If he told me that.
You know who couldn't?
Who? Cardinals kicker. I will say this about the Cardinals, and I agree with you. Before the Cardinals, we were watching the game, right? Before he goes out there, they're showing before the game him practicing field goals, and they kept showing all the misses. Yeah, and I'm like, what a terrible video to play before a game winning. They're playing at home. Like, how does this guy put this on the camera? How does this guy put it on TV? Because if I'm the kicker and I look up and see what they're playing, I'm like,
Lon, what's crazy is Justin Tucker, his pregame kicks, he was 6 for 19.
Oh,
6 for 19.
For Justin Tucker?
For Justin Tucker. After the game, he did an interview. He said he was 6 for 19 in pregame field goals. And he said, good thing they don't keep stats in pregame.
Exactly. And the thing is, obviously the Cardinals kicker, I'm not blaming him for the loss.
No,
because the thing is, he let's say he makes it. They go to overtime. Are we really going to beat the Eagles in overtime? Who knows? We could blame Kyler Murray for only scoring 17 points. We could blame the O-line for not blocking very well. We can blame Marquise Brown for that crucial drop in the third quarter. We can blame everybody. We can blame the defense for, let's give the defense credit for holding them to 20. Remember I was saying if we could hold them under 20, we have a shot. Mm-hmm. And we had a shot.
Yeah.
But in those crucial downs for the Eagles, they got it. If they needed a 3rd and 5, they got 7. There was never really a play where the Cardinals defense was like, yeah, that's us. It was usually after a first, maybe a first down sack, and the Eagles at that point were trying to play catch up with the yards. Mm-hmm. Couldn't get it done that way. But in clutch situations for the Eagles, they got it done against the Cardinals defense, and it wasn't a problem for them.
Yeah.
And I saw a video of the kicker for the Cardinals getting interviewed after the game, and the O lineman interrupts it and says, "Hey, you guys, shame on you guys for interviewing just him. We lost this game as a team. I missed blocks. The O line or the offense failed to score, and you guys are killing this kicker for a missed field goal. Come on." And I was like, "That's a great teammate right there." Kyler Murray needs to do that. Because the thing is Kyler Murray, in the interview, I didn't watch the interview of what he said, but I hope he said, this wins on me, or this loss is on me too.
I guarantee you he didn't. I guarantee you he didn't.
I want to give him the benefit of that.
Because he is not a good leader. He's also a waste of money.
Okay.
So, well, I like Kyler Murray. I just think he needs an attitude, he needs an attitude and tune up. And I think, again, that's just, he's young. He's young. And he hasn't been... I think if Patrick Mahomes, he's been a leader since he started.
Patrick Mahomes,
he's had great coaching, and Andy Reid.
Yeah.
Andy Reid is, he basically said, "Hey, this is your offense now." Kyler Murray, I don't think has gotten that yet, just because he hasn't performed in those clutch moments throughout his career so far. Obviously, he's done from time to time this season, but when it mattered the most, he's failed at times. But certainly, I think the Cardinals, I don't think they're a bad team by any means. To hold the Eagles, this is the Eagles' closest game, I think.
So 5-0.
They're 5-0 though.
5-0.
But they're not the best team to me. The Bills are. The Bills or the Chiefs are. Either of those teams.
Yeah.
I don't think the Eagles are the best team now. Do I think they have a shot at the Super Bowl? Sure. Because the NFC is soft and they're weak. I don't think they're very good. I don't think the Giants are legit. I don't think the Cowboys are legit. And I'm just hating. I don't think they're legit.
NFC sucks.
No, it doesn't suck. I'm just saying
it's not
the records. We can't talk about the records they have because they have pretty good records. Some teams are undefeated. The Cowboys, the Giants have 4-1. Yeah, but Cooper Rush. Come on. You play the Bills, you're probably going to lose by 40. The Bills. That's just the way they're playing though. And I think if we, the NFC is a toss-up game right now because you still got Tom Brady in the NFC, who, any given Sunday can give your team 50 points. This is what he does, and for him, he gets it done in the clutch situations all the time. That's what he does. That's why he is the GOAT. So, down the to the end of the season into the playoffs, we'll see who's the number one team. I don't think the Eagles are. That's just my personal opinion. I think they're amazing. I think Jalen Hurts is fantastic. But I don't think they're the best team by any means, just because they've had a very hard schedule. Play the Chiefs, play the Bills. They play the Cowboys next week, which could be a good game. We'll see. I don't think either of those teams is going to win the Super Bowl this year. If one of them made it and won it, I'd be surprised, and I'd be happy for them, of course. But we'll just have to wait and see.
Not seeing that happen.
Hey, you never know though. Again, early on in the season, we haven't seen a whole lot of tough matchups for these NFC teams versus these AFC teams. We'll see that maybe later on. Until we have that, I can't say any NFC team is the best team in the NFL. To me, it's all the AFC right now. Chiefs, Bills, they're outstanding. Top two quarterbacks in the league, great defenses, great receivers, and that's all I'm going to say about that. And guys, that's going to wrap up In the Big Leagues, our pro sports report. Up next, cap or no cap, so don't go away. Welcome back. Now it's time for Cap or No Cap, where we take a controversial topic or statement and debate whether it's cap or no cap. For today's Cap or No Cap, a top college football team could beat the worst pro football team.
Cap.
Oh,
Cap. That's not even a debate.
Okay, so you're saying Alabama would lose to let's just say the Texans.
Yes. It's an NFL team. You can't, it's an NFL team and a college team. Two completely different levels.
Sure.
And I'm just saying, not all of Alabama players are going to go to the NFL. There's some that are not going to go to the NFL at all.
I guarantee you.
And all
80% will, though.
Okay, because it's Alabama.
Exactly.
But all the players on the Texans have experience, and they're all in the NFL. I mean, it's you can't really debate that at all. Just because.
Well, sure you can.
You
can be anything.
Well, I mean, they're two different levels, though. They're two completely different levels. And I'm just saying, even though the Texans suck, even though they suck, really bad,
yeah,
it's still the NFL.
Okay.
In Alabama, they're good and all, but I mean, they're college. And Texans have way more experience. The players have way more experience. And I couldn't see a college team beating an NFL team. I can't see it.
What about you, Daniel?
I think it's cap too, for the same reasons. Such a small percentage of college athletes go to the NFL, so those are high tier players right there.
Oh yeah, certainly.
The NFL's the best of the best. Yeah, exactly. It's the best of the best. No college team's got the best of the best. Even the worst of the NFL is still so good compared to your college teams. Now obviously there's going to be players that make it to the NFL and they'll compete, but all around there's no way. I just don't think that it could possibly happen.
Yeah, and it definitely does not matter if they're on the Texans or not. They were still the best players. That's why they got drafted. They were the best players in their year of college.
Right.
So, I mean, that's why they're in the NFL, because they're top tier players.
You guys are going to disagree with me.
Oh,
I think for this year,
No.
I could say that Alabama would beat the Texans.
No.
The Texans have Davis Mills as their starting quarterback. I don't even know anything about this guy. I don't know what college he went to. I don't know if he played for a team before the Texans. I have no clue who he is. He kind of was just thrown in there, I feel like, as a starter. And Alabama has Bryce Young. I mean,
okay,
he's a bigger name than Davis Mills as a college athlete. We talk about Alabama, one of the top. I mean, every year they're the top college football team, top one or two.
Mm-hmm.
They're always in there for the championship to win it as well. And always the players that come from Alabama to the NFL usually are some of the most successful ones. I mean, if you look at it, Jalen Hurts from Alabama, he went to Oklahoma, but he played at Alabama. Tua Tagovailoa played at Alabama. Jalen Waddle played at Alabama, and I could go on and on and on and on. So you think these players coming out of Alabama, they're just breeding superstars into the NFL. So do you guys think that a team full of young superstars could beat a team full of, I'm not going to say scrubs, I almost said it. It's just a team full of mid-NFL players and the Texans. I think that Alabama. I can't say that every year. And I'm not going to say it every year. Hold on.
Let me say this. Name 5 superstars right now on Alabama.
I can't. I don't watch college football enough. But I've watched the Texans this season, and I know that they're not very good. I mean, shoot, Alabama might beat my Broncos. With how the Broncos are this season. I mean, we can't. I mean, the Broncos can't score on the Colts. So do you think that the Broncos could score on the Alabama, Crimson Tide? I don't know. I'm not gonna. I don't know. But I mean, I can say this year it could be a good game.
No.
I'm just kind of.
I don't think it should be a debate because there's a college team and an NFL team. You can't. We would
never see that happen, I don't think. But it would be so fun, though. Because I legit think Alabama this year, with how good they are, how bad the Texans are, it might be close. Who knows?
No. I can't see that happening. I just can't see Alabama just going out there and beating an NFL.
You were really strong in your point, huh?
Yes, because I can't see that happening at all.
It's like you're a Texans fan now, and you're just protecting your team. That's what it seems like.
No, it's just. No, it was.
Okay. Well, I'm saying a big maybe. I'm not rolling the Tide out. I think Nick Saban's a fantastic coach, and I think it would just be so fun for those college athletes. We're playing the NFL team. Okay. The Texans. Okay, we got a shot. I don't know. I think it'd be so fun.
That would be interesting to see for sure.
Yeah.
I would love to see that.
I mean, I don't think they'd ever do it just because you'd have these
you
30,
can't.
35-year-old men tackling these young kids, 20 years old.
My point exactly.
Yeah, there's
They're,
no way.
they're older than I mean.
Yeah, but youth is, you'd think they're going to be a little bit more resilient than these old guys,
Grown man strength, bro.
right?
Cap.
Okay.
This is cap.
Cap. I'm sticking to no cap. I think it's interesting to talk about, interesting to think about. We'll never see it happen, but it's fun to think about and fun to imagine it happening and seeing Alabama, blow out the Texans if that was to happen. Now, guys, that's gonna wrap up Cap or No Cap for today. And it's also gonna wrap up our show. We've had a lot of great stuff we've talked about today, and we can't wait to talk about more stuff on Wednesday with our power rankings and more pro sports report. But we'll have to wait for that, guys. So we'll see you there. See you guys next time.